Hello, hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be doing something interesting to say the least. But before I do that, we are going to watch some clips of my morning. I started out by having a biscuit with some honey, and my dog followed me around because she wants biscuit. Her name's Sophie, and she's like a middle-aged dog. She has a lot of dog anxiety, but she's also pretty chill, so it's like the best of both worlds, you know? She is pretty camera shy, as you can see. Don't judge me for getting some of the eggshell in there. I had to do it with one hand, just for y'all. Be grateful. I use ghee clarified butter instead of regular butter. And instead of a spatula or something, I just use a fork because I don't like washing dishes. I just use my fork to kind of scramble the eggs. Then I put some garlic salt on there, pepper, nutritional yeast, and some cheese to top it off. And then I just mix it all together one more time, and there we go. Isn't that beautiful? 10 out of 10. Tastes amazing. Hunger has been satisfied. Now it's time for the art part, the part you've all been waiting for. So I just like to start with the primary colors because those are simple. Oh my god, there she is, Miss Boba Straw. By the way, this is a moleskin journal. It's not a sketchbook, it's a journal. I got it from Target. I also added some gold to the palette just to spice things up a little bit. And then I made my first marks. And I think that once you make the first marks on your canvas, the rest is a little less intimidating because you're not like, I don't want to like get off to a bad start. So it just kind of, I don't know, psychological brain stuff that I can't really put into words, but I'm sure other people can. Anyway, yeah, I just kind of slapped the gold on there. By the way, this idea of using unconventional tools to make art, it was not my idea, it was my art teacher's idea. This is actually for an AP art assignment. We're doing a mini kind of workshop at home, obviously, since we're not in school. So yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying it because it's a little different from what we've had to do. A lot of my drawing projects have been very precise and I know exactly what materials and tools I'm using, so this is shaking things up a little bit. It's kind of refreshing to do stuff like this in the midst of a lot of realism, or attempts at realism at least, I should say. So yeah, it may even influence further projects because drawing isn't just about trying to make cool drawings, it's also about mark making. And I've seen a few example portfolios for AP art that have been very, very involved in mark making to the point where it almost looks like a painting, but it's just a drawing, which is really, really cool. And I might dive into that aspect of it more. You can probably see it starting to form, but I am painting an eye for this page just because I wanted to have a simple subject matter, something that's easy, something that I'm familiar with, just so I can focus more on actually using the tool. So yeah, experimentation. And for the shadows, I'm mostly using purple tones. I'm mixing that red and blue to do that. And then for the skin tone, I'm using more of a yellow and just kind of doing my thing. I don't know. A lot of my colors ended up being pretty muddy because using a boba straw, it's hard to wipe it off or dip it in water and clean it off just like you would with a paintbrush. So yeah, my colors did get a little mixed together, but that's okay. It's art. It's fun. And I have also been blowing through the straw with water to see if that'll manipulate the paint, which it kind of did. And it actually did something really interesting. The water splattered over the paper and there's a drawing on the other side of a figure, and I did that in purple. So you can see the purple start to seep through when I blow the water on there. And it did mess up the drawing on the other side, but I still think that's pretty cool. It's for the sake of art. You might be asking yourself, why has this bitch got so much paint on her palette? Well, I'll give you a reason. 1, I'm lazy, but 2, for oddly satisfying purposes. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video one day. I'm gonna film myself, possibly on TikTok. I don't know, might upload a Reels video on Instagram. I'm just gonna peel the whole thing. I'm just gonna peel all the paint off at once, and it's gonna be epic. So don't judge my methods. I know what I'm doing. It is partly inspired by a video I saw by, I believe her name is Isabella Draws. It might be Isabel. I'm not entirely sure, but I follow her on Instagram, and I remember like a year ago she posted something very similar, or it was the exact thing I'm describing. And I was like, I want to do that. So yeah, about a year ago, I just started not cleaning my palette. So that's where we're at, and hopefully I will provide you guys with one just as satisfying video one day. We'll see. Recently, I haven't been using acrylic paint as much, just because I've been working on my drawing portfolio, and I've been so invested in just getting that done using colored pencils and drawing materials. So I haven't really had any time to put aside in my life, in my spare time, to paint with acrylics. So I have not added that much paint onto the palette as I would like, but we're getting there. And speaking of painting, I have an oil painting tutorial, if you want to call it that, coming out soon. It is in the works. I'm like halfway through the painting right now. It's drying because, you know, oil paint has to dry, and if you want to do different layers of paint, you gotta let it dry first, which takes a very, very long time, as my fellow oil painters know. It is quite the small painting because it really is just for tutorial purposes. I didn't want to make something too extravagant, and I thought it would be dry like 5 days after painting my first layer, but it is like, it's been a week. It's been 7 whole days, and it is still drying, so that's gonna be delayed a little bit. I thought I'd be editing that video right now, but I'm editing this one, hence the mention of it in this voiceover. So yeah, let me talk about acrylic paint brands for a second, because that is a big part of the paints I use and why I use them. So when I first started acrylic painting, I would use my mom's paints, and she's got pretty good paints. She's got the high quality paint because she's a painter. She does big extravagant pieces, and they're very, very good, very skilled, and she likes to use a high grade of paint. I think she has like Winsor Newton, Liquitex, a lot of those pretty good brands. What I use is very cheap paint from Walmart. Not those apple barrel paints in the little plastic bottles, but I use the tubes of paint. I think they're around $2. They're the Daler Rowney brand, which so far Daler Rowney pulls through. They're so cheap, and the paint dries super fast, which I actually like. I like layering on paint if I don't end up liking what I did. I know there's a lot of slow drying acrylic paints to get a similar effect to oil paints, but that's not my vibe. Like, my mom has, I believe it's Liquitex slow drying paint. Or no, it's golden slow drying paint. That's what the brand is. So she likes to use those a lot, just so she can really get what she needs to in one go, I guess. I am not there. I don't make intentional brush strokes. I usually make strokes that I try so hard on, but aren't quite there yet, which that shows that I need some practice with paint. I have a lot to learn. That's what I do, so I like to use some cheap acrylic paint. And at this point, I realized I had blown into the straw when I dipped the other end in the black paint, and it was not dry. So yeah, I had to leave and then come back. I had wiped my mouth and there was black paint on my hands. I was like, oh no, I done fucked up. Just Karina things. So alongside with the boba straw, I also started to use my fingers, just starting to finger paint, as you can see. And I was like, the boba straw has reached its full potential. I've done everything that I can do with the boba straw. And I still incorporated it quite a lot, But at this point, I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna use my fingers. I'm gonna do me. I'm just gonna go at it. So yeah, finger painting is very liberating in my opinion. It's so fun. And if you haven't finger painted since you were like 4, you should do it again. You know, go back to your roots, your caveman baby roots, because it is so fun. And I think it's actually a great way to make some very intentional looking marks without really trying, because you feel the paint in your skin, your nerves, receptor thingies, and you're like, wow, I'm feeling every little bit of this paint as it touches the paper, and that's crazy. And I think it's worth a shot because of that. It's so beautiful, such a beautiful concept. One might argue that I possibly messed it up by finger painting because the boba straw produced a very specific effect with the mark making, and I just kind of smeared it all together. But I don't know, I like it. And that's all that matters. At this point, I was really just going at it. As you can see, I had the vision of like a bloody crying eye. So that's the look we're going for. It didn't really turn out that way, but like it turned out how I wanted it to, if that makes sense. It doesn't really even look like an eye. Like you really gotta interpret it like an eye to see it as an eye. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but it don't look like one to me. I mean, it kind of does. You can see the basic shapes, but it's a lot of messy stuff, which that's good. I actually like that. I am picking this apart too much, so I will stop. If you didn't know, I am currently hosting an art telephone. It's still in the early stages. We're actually waiting on the first person to finish their piece, but... Ooh, did you hear that? My stomach just made such a weird noise. Okay, but yeah, back to what I was saying. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. An art telephone, if you didn't know, is just like the game Telephone that we all played as children. One person starts out with one piece, and then they send it to the next person, who then modifies the piece and adds their own kind of style and flair. And then that person sends it to the next person, so on and so forth. And by the end, you get a really cool result that is supposedly ideally different from the first piece. Like, completely. So I have about 30 people participating, and I'm really excited to see the outcome because it's such a cool concept. Right now, I am taking the boba straw and actually just making some marks in the paint, like I'm carving into it, kind of. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, the paint was just layered on so thick that I decided to do that. I don't know what other art stuff to talk about. I guess I'll talk about my video plans. So, as I mentioned earlier, I am working on that oil painting quote-unquote tutorial video. I also filmed an earring making video, which should be out soon as well. I don't know if I want to like space out the upload times or if I just want to upload everything at once all close together, but those will be coming soon, those two. And yeah, I don't know if I'll upload them before this video or not, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just gonna go with the flow, man. So that's about it for the eye page. That one's done. And while I was waiting for it to dry, for some reason in my brain, I was like, it's 12:30 a.m. I'm gonna work on another page while I'm waiting for the first one to dry. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at all. I didn't know where I was going for this one, but right as I put these first few marks down, I was like, that kind of looks like a hand, and I just went for it. You can kind of see the hand forming right now, like the thumb and the fingers. I think the problem with this one is just the angle and the flatness of it all. Like, I definitely prefer the first page. The eye is very, like, centralized, but in a good way. I presented it to my art class recently, and one of my peers was, like, describing it in a way or like I think she said the eye looks like it's listening, and I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool that someone was able to perceive it like that, because to me, I'd just be thinking Boba Straw. Miss Boba Straw did that. And understandably so, because like, I don't know, I guess it looks deep, and later I applied a meaning that was kind of deep. I mean, it wasn't a meaning, but it was an idea, I guess. But yeah, looking at it, it's just like, it's so edgy. It's so like, it looks like it was made with such intent. But in reality, I was just experimenting with a pink plastic boba straw. And it's like, two very different perspectives, you know? The person looking at your art is always going to have a different perspective than the artists. And again, understandably so. I'm just talking in circles. Moving on, talking about the hand part. I don't think it was as strong as the eye, because looking at the placement and the flatness of it, it just, something about it doesn't work. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this experience that I tend to have. I don't usually talk about it because it's never something that I really think about. I don't blame this on anything, it just happens, and that's how it is for me. But how do I say it? It's like, okay, when I do something good with a specific material, it's like a certain idea, I executed it quite well, and I'm pretty proud of it. That is what the eye is in this situation. And then I try to make something right after it, like right after in the consecutive next moment. And I try to do it that same way. I try to do something slightly different, but in the same way. And it just doesn't work in my favor. And I don't know why. Like, this hand, it just wasn't cutting it. It just did not work out. Like, it's just not good. Compositionally, it's just not pretty, and I don't know. Everything about it is just like not as good to me. It's not the OG, you know? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but I'm trying to make a point, a very specific, kind of abstract point. But yeah, let me know if you know what I'm talking about, because I don't know if that's a universal experience or not. Am I special? I don't know. I believe at this moment is where things on this page started to take a turn for the worse, because, I mean, just look at, oh my god, that's so ugly. Why did I do that? Just a blob of black paint. Just, what even is it? Why did I add that little streak? I don't even know. I don't understand myself. Who am I? Who is she? And then this one's gonna look kind of cool, but I don't know. It looks cool at first, and then I just mess it up again. It's so typical of myself to do something like that. Like, look, right there, that's cool. And then I just made it look so stupid. I can't believe myself. I'm so disappointed. Never again. My goodness. I mean, I'm so sorry. This has just turned into me talking shit about my art, which no one should ever do. Don't do that. But I'm just harshly critiquing things that I don't understand why I did. I don't know. I'm just trying too hard in this one. I think the problem is that there's a lot of dark spots that draw your attention away from what's supposed to be the subject matter on that page, right? That's a good assumption to make. But at the end of the day, even though I just very harshly criticized my own art, at the end of the day, art is art, and it's for fun. Like, do what you want to do. Don't listen to art teachers and critics telling you how you're supposed to create. I mean, this is for a grade, like, specifically, but in the big scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. My art teacher don't care like that anyways, but, like, creating should be fun, and I'm kind of sidetracking, but this kind of does have to do with art. I think you can apply it to art. I was watching a TikTok today. Someone was talking about how their therapist told them be more value oriented as opposed to goal oriented. And I think this goes with art because a lot of artists these days set so many like follower goals or like just certain milestones that are based off of numbers and very specific things. But if you focus more on value, like more abstract concepts, I think that's what they said in the video, and set more standards instead of like very specific goals for yourself, then you'll end up living a lot healthier mentally, I think. Because yeah, even for art, like as much as we have to be goal oriented in order to sell our art, even, it's always good to just set some time aside throughout your day and just appreciate art for what it is, and not for what it could be, but just for what it is. And I think that's a really important thing to do. I don't do that enough. I'm going to especially keep this idea in mind over the next few years because I'm hoping to be involved in the art community here in Atlanta for the rest of my life. I really, really want to have some kind of career related to art. Like, I can't imagine myself doing anything else. And I know in order to do that, I need to set certain goals. I need to set very, like, solid goals for myself just so I can advance in my career, because art is tough. Art, like, there's so much competition. There's so much talent out there that in order to, like, sell my art or be artistic as a career in some shape or form, it's tough. Like, my goodness. So I'm buckling up. I'm getting ready to just try my very hardest and not overwork myself or drain myself of the creativity that I have now, the passion that I have now, because yeah, I just really hope that I can keep that stamina going for a very long time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the video's coming to an end soon, and I just wanted to say thank you for sticking around if you've made it this far. This is the first video that I've made that is a bit on the longer side. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Like, seriously, thank you. And thank you guys so much for supporting me. I can't believe I hit 1,000 subscribers. Like, that's so crazy. I could even potentially make money off of this stuff soon. So, like, that's so cool. That is so amazing. And if you guys haven't tried a project like this at home, I would recommend it, because taking an unconventional tool and using the materials you'd usually use with that tool is pretty interesting. It makes a cool outcome. And I think it opens your mind a little bit. Not like intensely, not like some shrooms kind of stuff, but you know, it's kind of liberating. Not to be dramatic, but like, yeah, it was really fun, and I'd recommend anyone to do it. Like, yeah, do it. Set some time aside. This stuff took me like maybe an hour and a half, just because I was like kind of chilling, having fun, wasn't paying too much mind to it. So yeah, do it if you have some free time. While we're still here, I have a favor to ask of you guys. So I don't know what kind of videos you guys actually want to see. So if anyone could comment, DM me, like hit me up on anything, anywhere, anytime about videos, specific content they want to see, I will make it. I will take it into consideration. If I don't like the idea, I'll make something similar to it, because I want to make content for you guys. Like, yeah, that's why I'm making content, like literally just for y'all. So literally, like, tell me anything you want. Like, deadass, your wish is my command. So just hit me up. Like, seriously. Yeah. So this is about it for the video. This is the final product. Here's a head comparison. I don't know, man. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all are literally like the best. I could not ask for more. And thanks for making it this far. Like, this is a really long video. Props to y'all. Anyway, I love you guys so much. And oh yeah, remember the drawing on the other side that I mentioned earlier? This is how it looks. Don't mind the naked ladies on the page, they're just vibing. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time it is. And as always, I love you guys so much. Bye.